How about you come up and look at him and see if he gives you a thumbs up?
Let's stand by the microphone.
Oh, yes, stand by the microphone.
Ready to go?
Okay.
Roll with it?
Stand by the microphone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Usually I'm pretty loud, so it's usually not hard to hear. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Tonight we are here for the Environmental Quality Committee Speaker Series. The Environmental Quality Committee hosts speakers once a month throughout the first portions of each year. In January, our speaker topic was the state of the lakes in Shoreview. February was the Green to Go program in Roseville. Last month was, I believe, PFAS. And then here tonight, we're going to hear about the Ramsey County Food Scraps Pickup Program. We're going to learn how to put your food scraps to work. Program supports recycling food scraps for people of Ramsey and Washington counties. We'll learn how the program works, what can be recycled, availability, how the program helps reduce waste and supports sustainability. And here with us tonight is Raina Chavez from Ramsey County and Annalie Garlitz from Ramsey, Washington Recycling and Energy. So I'll turn it over to you folks.
Right. Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting us this evening to talk with you all. Does this sound okay? Too loud? Okay, great. My name is Annalie Garlitz. I work at Ramsey Washington Recycling and Energy, and I'm the Food Scraps Pickup Program Coordinator there. And I coordinate directly with Raina. We're going to switch, when Raina's with Ramsey County, we're going to switch back and forth with this presentation so that you don't get bored of just hearing me talk. So I'll kick it off and tell you a little bit about the organizations and how the counties collaborate for this particular program. So a little bit about Ramsey Washington Recycling and Energy. You know that you're in, we know the counties, you're in Ramsey County. Ramsey and Washington counties have worked together since the 80s to manage trash, and we've been working together for the last 10 years in particular to process waste at our facility that's jointly owned by both counties in Newport. There's over 800,000 residents in the two counties and approximately 28,000 businesses. We offer programs to residents and businesses throughout the two counties. We are 14% of the state's population, and also that means 14% of the waste in the entire state is generated in these two counties. So a little bit more on the work that we do to reduce and move things up what we'll call the waste hierarchy, and we'll talk through that in a little bit. It's a racially diverse area, and it's there's city centers, there's rural areas, and there's suburban. So we have a lot of different areas to cover and a lot of different people to reach with the programs that we offer. Waste management and the county role. We're always finding ways to the reduce, reuse, recycle. This is the waste hierarchy, and it's on the screen. And reduction is always first and foremost. Before we put anything in the garbage, we always want to try to reduce things going in the garbage in the first place. My goal with my work is we should be working ourselves out of jobs in the waste industry. My job shouldn't exist in the future, but we continue to acquire things. There will always be waste. So this is the way that we're working to educate people to, again, reduce, reuse, recycle, and coming soon to Shoreview, an additional way to compost through the county programs. All of the waste in Washington and Ramsey counties eventually makes its way to Newport, which is where the jointly owned county facility is located. And that is a processing facility. And I do encourage you, I don't have the information with me tonight, but I can certainly pass it along. But if anybody's ever interested in a tour, it sounds very strange, but it's a fun tour. It's really interesting. You never thought anyone would tell you that a garbage tour would be fun, but I think it's really impactful to visit the facility and really see the amount of waste that's generated on a daily basis and just learn a little bit more about what we're doing to move things up that waste hierarchy, keep it from going to a landfill. And I almost think that everybody should come and see it at least once, because the scale of it is pretty incredible when you see the trucks coming in and bringing the waste. And then I see every day what I'm trying to change, and it's kind of a nice thing with my current work. The R&E Center manages between 400 and 450,000 tons of municipal solid waste. That's all of your garbage. And we also have the ability at this particular facility, we do some extra recovery activities on the back end. So the waste comes to the facility, but we also are able to pull out different recyclables that people may not have recycled on the front end. Our preference is always to have people separate at home, but there is a capacity at the facility to recover some items on the back end. And at that particular facility, we've been recovering food scraps for the past, since October of 2023. And we'll get into a little bit what that means and when you'll be receiving that program here later this summer. So some of our waste does go, it goes to two different waste to energy facilities. One is in Red Wing, one is in Mankato. So the waste leaves Newport, goes down to those facilities, and there is a smaller portion that does get landfilled if it just can't be transported to a waste to energy facility, or if it's big and bulky and it can't go through some of the processing lines. But that is a much smaller amount. And again, 14% of the state's total waste comes to this one facility in Newport. A little bit about what's in our trash. I think something also that is really impactful with the food scraps pickup program is that we can see that based on a waste composition study, so this is a study people dive in and they see, we dig through the trash, we see what's in the average people's waste on a weekly basis. And so on average, this is what we're seeing is in the trash. And you can see that organics at 33%, and this is kind of all of the trash, but we can see that that's a huge one. And when organics go to the landfill, they produce methane in a very much more concentrated form than it would be produced if it goes to a compost facility or in your backyard composter or anywhere else. So this is something that we can do. You can at home work to help us get to this. And it's a really, again, you can pull this lever and you see that you're making this difference. So I think it's a really fun program to work on. I've worked on a lot of different state, county, different programs, and this is really a one-for-one. You can actually see the difference being made. So these are just some of the different things. This is the makeup of what makes up our trash. And a little bit more, and I need to update this starting for this summer, but this is where the waste flows. So you'll see this R&E Center, that's the Newport facility that I was talking about. So all of the waste in Washington and Ramsey counties makes its way there. From there, you can see that it goes to either Red Wing, Mankato, and now at that particular R&E Center, we have a food scrap sortation line. So all of this, it's really hard not to walk around and stay with this. So you'll see there's a certain area that direct hauls. So everywhere that has the food scrap program available to them right now, direct hauls their waste to the R&E Center. And so that's why we're able to offer sortation to a specific area right now. So we're able to sort their food scrap bags, and we're sending those food scrap bags to the SMSC compost facility down in Shakopee. And so eventually, your waste here will, or your trash will be hauled to the Walters transfer station. And that facility is being built right now. And I have a little bit more information about what that means. So I have a little bit more information about that later. And then there'll be a third transfer station that will be built to waste management, existing transfer station. We'll have robotics installed there. And they'll get their program. It'll be Roseville, Falcon Heights, Lauderdale, St. Paul. They'll be after you. So you get yours a little bit earlier than other places. But again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So back to why we collect food scraps. I'm going to turn this over to Raina to talk a little bit more about the program.
So, like we talked a little bit about the percentage of food that is in our household trash, and that's really around 20%. Basically, the reason why it can cause additional methane in the landfill or somewhere else is because the trash bag basically creates an anaerobic atmosphere. So you're taking away these organics from their natural environment. So it doesn't have the proper environment to properly decompose, which then leads to this strange anaerobic, what's the word? Just decomposition that creates the methane that gets released. And here again is our waste hierarchy that Annalee mentioned, with recycling in there. I guess I don't have to talk more about that. No. Alrighty. So a couple ways to recycle food scraps is through at-home composting, which is many people do and is a great way to do it. It does have its own limitations, such as it's seasonal, and you can't put your bones in there, or dairy, or a whole lot of grease and stuff like that, because and then we have the collection programs like the drop-off sites that are currently available, and then the food scraps pickup program that goes to a industrial compost facility that has that capability to take all kinds of food and compost it. So a little bit more about the program. There's a bag that was specially made to withstand being placed in your trash cart and getting picked up by the dumpster and getting hauled over and manhandled and tossed around without tearing. Annalee is passing around the bag so you can take a feel of what they feel like. They're very sturdy, and yeah, they withstand pretty well. So the specifications of that is they're about a 1.4 millimeters thick. They are fully compostable, BPI certified, and have that penetration resistance that I mentioned, so they can handle being tossed around in the garbage truck. And the ink on it is also compostable as well, so 100% compostable. Part of the program is that each household can get up to 2 orders of these bags for free. It's about 60. From the studies that Arnie has done, that they see that it's about 1 to 2 bags per household is used a week. So it should be enough to be like a year's supply. And that, aside from that, there's a 6-gallon or the 13-gallon. So if you have a larger family, you can get that 13-gallon bag and it should last you all year. Alrighty, so why food scrap bags instead of separate carts? The way we see it is, since we're using an existing cart system, we're not putting more trucks on the road, which leads to less emission, like that greenhouse emission gases. We're taking advantage of kind of an efficient process that's already in place to get those food scraps to our compost facilities. It's way more effective financially, so it would cost about 10 times more to have that separate cart per household. And this method also allows for more people to participate, since it is everyone has to have a trash cart already, but you don't have to pay for an additional cart to have at your home. And like we have those free bags that people can get, and it's just more accessible to everybody. Yeah, basically you tie them and then you put it in your garbage cart, which then gets sorted out later. And also this method opens it up for apartments and condos and townhouses. All kinds of homes are eligible for this program. So a little more about how the program works. You order your free supply of bags, you collect, and we encourage people to replace that bag once a week to ensure integrity in the garbage truck. And then you put in the cart, gets collected, and then gets sorted out with our robots, and then gets sent off to get composted. So
one thing, so Rena mentioned that you'll get 2 free orders of 60 bags, so up to 120 bags per year. So you get these, you fill them up, and you tie a knot. The knot is really important for the program. You can tie it like bunny ears, or you'll be able to tie it like a balloon. And one thing that's important to remember with the bag is that this looks like it's going to be a lot of food scraps in your house, but you need to make sure that you have the room in the bag to tie the knot. So, this is what you can put in there. So I think people are kind of shocked when they see the size of the bags and they want something smaller. But it's important to remember to tie it, and that will also help it, like Rena said, withstand the trip in the garbage truck to the facility. You're not going to lose any of the goodies that you spent your time putting in here. Did you have a question? Ask your question. I think questions are great.
Yeah. So they can
Like in the compost.
Possibility that you have your bags stored and you get your 60 and you wait a year, or they're going to be less viable after a year?
yeah, they can be less viable after a year. Like there has been situations where people do, like forget that they have their bags, and for those people, we encourage to double bag to, not waste that material.
Yeah, so these bags are biodegradable. They are meant to break down. So one thing to remember is that, like Rena said, at least switch them out at least once a week, because you will have condensation in your collection container. They may start to, especially when it's hot and steamy and you've got watermelon or tomatoes in here, and it will start breaking down. And so I've been using bags. I've been using some older ones that are about 5 years old, and I have not had a problem with them. But what we're reminding residents is that it's good to use them. If you're ordering the bags, we want you to use them. We want you to use at least once a week, because that means you're sending in your items to be composted. I hope people don't feel like they need to hoard them and save them for the best time. But people get up to 2 free orders per calendar year. So in January every year, that will reset and you'll be able to get 120 more bags. So I hope that that fits the needs of everybody. If somebody should identify a need for more, you can go online and purchase them. But we found that, so we wanted to make that available for people. But for the most part, I think after the 3 years that we've seen of the program, I do think that the 120 bags should suit the needs of the majority of residents in the communities. Question? That's a great question. It varies. Okay, yes. So the question is, where's the best place to collect the food scraps in your house? And I think it varies by person. One of the comments was that there's a 5-gallon bucket in the garage. I know other people collect in a small bowl on their countertop and move that into the freezer, or keep your bag in the freezer, collect during the day on the countertop. I have a cat who's very interested in everything that I put in these bags, and so I have a child lock for my cat under the sink, and I put it in an ice cream bucket under the sink, and he's locked out of it. And I switch that out. So that's what I do.
I personally I use my freezer. I'm not a fan of the squishy vibes that happens with the food scraps. So I like to freeze it and then take it out at the end of the week, and it's a nice solid rock. And then so.
In the winter, I store mine outside, so the cat totally can't get it. That's been really nice. So I think something important, it's a really good question. I think something important to remember is that there's no right or one way to do it. I think the key is having people find the right thing to do that works in their own household. So something that's a visual reminder. There's no right container to use. There's no wrong container to use. It's whatever works. Question? The question is about whether to use the bag as the container until you're ready to dispose of it. I actually use my bag as the container. I line my ice cream bucket with it, and when it's hit its mark, I tie it off. And the question is, do I experience any decomposition? If I were to leave it for longer than a week, I 100% would. There would be drips. You might have that regardless. I think, again, that's what works. That's just what works in my house. But I think for other people, if you're switching it out at least once a week and just transporting it to your garbage, it's whatever works for you. In your house, that might not be the way to go. Another question. One of the question was, can you put eggshells in it? And you can. Raina had talked about, let's see. Is it coming? There we go. So it can take all of these things. So similar if you're using the drop-off program, is that what people are familiar with using? We can take everything that you can take in the drop-off program except for pizza boxes, because that would rip the bag apart and it just wouldn't fit very well. So unless you're diligently cutting your pizza box. Question back there?
Drop-off sites have containers that can fit, like right next to your sink, or then they have one that has a hook that you can hook over the door underneath your sink and with a lid that snaps shut, so it won't attract.
Yeah. The comment was that there's drop-off. Does Shoreview offer? Oh, okay. So there's. Okay.
Yeah, and also there's one in
So it sounds like people are finding a variety of ways to collect theirs. One note is that Raina is working in Ramsey County to acquire bins that will be able to be provided to residents to encourage more participation in the program, just to really get people started. So Raina will be working with your city to be able to offer those once the program is available to you. Question?
So we have the green recyclable containers that we use now, the recycle for compost, excuse me, for compost bags. Are these thicker than what we're currently using?
Yes, did you happen to get one passed around to you so you can feel? Yeah, so these are actually 3 times thicker than the plastic bags that you get at the, well, and I just ripped it. It's been riding my car with me all summer long. These have been in my car for about 2 years, so these are my example bags. So yes, they're 3 times thicker than a plastic bag that you would get at a grocery store.
Or the drop-off site ones.
Current compost bags we get at the compost.
Yeah, those are extraordinarily thin. Those, do not use those for the program. They would not make their way, and we'll show you, we have a video to show you, they would not make their way to the facility to be put in the garbage truck, come to the facility to be picked by the robots. It just wouldn't make it.
And if they did, and let's say by some crazy chance, it did make its way to the facility, the robots would not pull them because they're trained for these specific bags.
But we could take our little thin bags and put them in that bag.
Yeah,
That'd be fine.
yeah. Yeah, I've heard some people do that.
Another question.
Yeah, the sites we started using at first had certain hours depending on the season. But we found, from a recommendation from a neighbor that there's a 24/7 over in New Brighton. And so if anybody is not aware of that, and you could go there at midnight. And it's on Old Age, so it's not so far, to get there. It only has, the small bags, but, you know, if you have company or something and you think, I don't wanna wait till the next time it's open, especially in the winter where it might be open only on the weekend, that New Brighton place is a savior.
Nice. Sounds like there's lots of good options up here for drop-off sites, for food scrap emergencies. Well, and this will be coming in July, so you can just take this right out to your trash container. So you don't have to drive anywhere for this. There is paper napkins, Kleenexes, paper towels, as long as they're not dyed and you haven't used chemicals, like you haven't been spraying your 409 on your countertops, wiping it up with your paper towel. Don't put those in. Question?
You say this bag is biodegradable, so how long can stay inside, for a week or longer, not broken?
So the question is, how long can things stay inside this bag? We recommend switching this out at least once a week. So don't keep your food scraps in this for longer than a week. Put it right into your trash. Like, even if it doesn't feel full, yeah, tie it off, switch it out. You can do it, there's 2 ways. The question is, what way does the bag need to be tied? You can tie it, I know people with hand mobility issues prefer to tie it kind of like bunny ears. It's the best way I can think of, or you can tie it like a balloon, whichever way works best for you, as long as it's tied so that your hard work doesn't go to waste. Another question.
What my practice is, I just collect my food scrap or organic trash to separate, and I decompose it in my backyard because I grow vegetables. So it's very good fertilizer
Yeah.
for my vegetable. Since I'm doing this, I just reduce my trash like every month I just small bag. So I do not need every week to push my trash can outside, so I save a lot of resources for the collection.
stay there for a year or longer. So that's why I'm just ask question if this how long can stay in the trash can stay inside.
Yeah, if you, the question is, again, how long can this last? One solution that may work for you, since you do backyard composting already, is to, if you have meat or dairy or different things like that, put that in your freezer until you're ready to push your trash cart out. Do the rest of your composting in your backyard and keep it in your freezer until you're ready to push your trash cart out to the curb.
So one more question. The meat, meat or crab count feed to the animal, wild animals on backyard or not? Some birds, some like a rainbow come to eat meat or whatever. Is this okay or not allowed?
I'm not going to comment on your backyard, like bird feeding or creature feeding. I don't know what the city regulations are about feeding backyard creatures. You could, or you could put it in a food scrap bag, and it can be put to work for you. And it can come to our industrial compost facility to be composted. Was there another question, Tim?
I think maybe if I could clarify a little bit for Han, the difference between a backyard compost and an industrial compost facility. Industrial compost facility, yes, meat, bones, dairy. Backyard compost, no.
Correct.
Industrial compost facility, yes, bags. Backyard compost, no. But because of the pile size.
Yep, and we'll see a picture of what the industrial compost facility looks like. These bags, by the time they arrive, they get to the industrial compost facility, they will become compost in about, I think, 3 to 6 months. Like usable market, like a material that you can use in your garden.
We do have a video.
Yeah. So this will explain a little bit. This is a new product. This is something new that we created to help explain the process.
You just ordered your food scrap bags from the Food Scraps Pickup Program. I know, they're pretty amazing.
Sorry, give me one moment. Sorry, it's probably the switch quality.
Oh, good thinking.
There you go.
Nice.
Get
You're smart.
good quality video. Start again.
Okay.
You just ordered your food scrap bags from the Food Scraps Pickup Program. I know, they're pretty amazing. What if I told you the journey is even more magical than the bag? That'd be nuts. That's right, those are definitely accepted. Along with all kinds of other food. Eggshells, coffee grounds, moldy bread, and whatever this used to be. They all go here. Wow, you've been quite the collector. That bag is looking full. Time to send it on its big adventure. All you have to do is put the Tide bag into your trash cart or dumpster. That's it. Your hauler takes it from there. Goodbye, old friend. It's been an amazing week. Hope you enjoy wherever it is you're going. Ah, the waste facility. And look, there's our bag, surrounded by trash. Smells like opportunity. Excuse me, who's gonna save these bags? Ah, there they are. Meet the robots. These AI-powered arms look for these specific bags and sort them out. AI, so hot right now. Speaking of hot, it's time for the next stop on this journey. The compost facility, where the main ingredient is heat. around 160 degrees to be exact. Oh, our bags have made friends. These cozy piles are where food scrap bags are mixed with just the right amount of yard waste. The result is compost. You've probably heard of compost or seen it at your local home improvement store. It's nutrient-rich soil that can be used in agriculture, landscaping, or gardens. It's a full circle, from the food we grow to the food we eat, and back to the earth again. And it all starts with a bag. It really is quite the journey.
So any questions? Was that helpful to see what things, there's a question.
I was wondering, then, once you have this compost, is it bagged and sold to people as compost? And then is it identified as coming out of a facility like this? Because sometimes, you know, you feel like some of this I wouldn't mind put on plantings, but I don't know if I'd want to put it on the food I'm going to eat, depending on how the stuff was grown before and if those chemicals follow it.
So the question is the compost available? How can it be purchased? And some different, just a little bit of, asking for a little bit of clarification about that. So all of Washington and Ramsey food scraps will all go to, it was SMSC, and now it's called Dakota Prairie Compost. It's an industrial compost facility down in Shakopee. And once it goes there, they are the owners of they run the process, they market it, they do all of the selling, bagging, all of those different things. So once we drop the compost off there, they are the receiver, they process it for their needs. So you can purchase it directly from them. I believe they sell in some stores. I'm not familiar with what they are. I guess my role is to get it there, to get as much as I can so that we can reduce the amount of trash that's coming in across the two counties and get it there. Eventually, what the two counties are working on investing in is something called anaerobic digestion. And so we're in the process right now of building an anaerobic digester down really close to the Dakota Prairie site. And it's a public-private partnership with DEMCON, which is a waste hauler. They have a large landfill down there. And anaerobic digestion it works on the food scraps and it's like a cow's stomach. It's going to produce the methane. The methane will be captured, generate electricity, and the byproduct ultimately of the anaerobic digestion product will be, after pyrolysis, will be something called biochar, so like a super charcoal. And what's kind of interesting about that product, and it's not owned by the counties, but something that we've done some preliminary testing on is that process removes PFAS from products. So that's just kind of an interesting thing. I am not an anaerobic digestion expert. Like I said, I just said cow's stomach. But that's in the future for where ultimately this waste will go. But your current question about where to get the compost, I know that Ramsey County is going to be doing a compost giveaway, and so is Washington County, and so there'll be some opportunities to get food scraps derived compost within county events. I think there's one coming up in May.
Yeah, there's one coming up in May. I don't remember what day. I think May 8th or something. I will, if there's a way I can forward that information and then it can be shared. Sorry.
I have one more question. Do they test the compost? Because my understanding, the last question is, people can put things on their produce or that will go to there any testing done that, about stuff that might remain in?
The question is there testing that's done on that end product of compost, and is the company doing any testing? And I don't know the answer to that question. That would be a question specifically for Dakota Prairie to see what their process is. They also do tours down there. And it's a really interesting process and a really interesting facility just to see how everything, if you're interested in seeing how things work and how things happen, that's another really great place to visit. So I'm not familiar with what they do. Oh. Well, hello, Paul.
Okay, I have a little sneaky question for you.
Oh, good.
Currently all of the waste collected in Ramsey and Washington County goes to Newport in some fashion. A hauler takes it to a transfer station and then sends it down there. So all of our waste, no matter who you're using or how much you're paying, is going to the same place. Now it will go to Blaine,
Mm-hmm.
where the bags will get plucked out by robots. So all of those trucks, no matter what you're paying or what hauler you have, is going to the same place. Do I have that right?
I love that. Yes, I love this statement question so far. You're spot on.
See what I did there?
I love that. Thank you for the softball. I appreciate it. Oh, I thought there was going to be more. I was waiting for it. Okay. There was another question.
Well, I have to see clarification then, so if it's going to Blaine, is it no longer going to Newport?
The question is, if it goes to Blaine, does it no longer go to Newport? And it will still go to Newport for that back end processing. So the facility at Newport can't take all of, just when you look at the area, we can't ask every single garbage truck to come to our facility. One, that would be a lot of time on the road for all of the haulers, a lot of time on the road for all of those trucks. We also don't have the capacity to accept all of that garbage in our food scrap bag building. And so that's why we've built these transfer stations. So it saves time for the individual trucks to go up to either Blaine or this waste management transfer station. From there, that waste gets loaded onto large semi-trucks, and those trailers come to Arnie to have that extra processing done. Yes. Yep. So in Blaine and St. Paul, those food scrap bags get pulled out there and get directly taken to the industrial compost facility or eventually the anaerobic digester. Oh, yeah.
So will this program replace the current composting, or will it be in addition to?
In addition to, so the question was if the current drop-off sites will still be in place or if it's gonna be replaced. And the answer is that the drop-off sites will stay and it will be in addition to the drop-off sites, the pickup program. Yes.
So the question was, can you still take your pizza boxes to the drop-off sites? And the answer is yes.
There's currently no plans in expanding the drop-off sites, but there's no intention in closing them. Yes.
So we've talked a little bit about industrial composting. Here's a little bit more about the program rollout. So I mentioned that we started in October of 2023 rolling out the program. We're in the process of rolling out, and eventually we'll have it available to all of Washington and Ramsey counties by thinking perhaps midway through 2027. So this is the current availability. This green area direct hauls to Newport. So that's why it's available there. We have the robotics that you saw in that video installed in Newport. And so in the dark green area is coming soon, and it will be available here starting July 6th. And so So it's coming. The way that we let people know about rollout is we'll work with your city. We'll work on we'll have advertising come out. You'll receive a postcard. We'll have a variety of ways to let you know. We'll be tabling at different events, working in community to let people know that it's coming and when you can sign up. You can't sign up right now for the program. If you went to the website to try to sign up or call the customer service line, you would not be in an eligible area. Essentially, your robots haven't been built yet. So even if you put it in, your bags won't be picked out of the trash so soon. It's coming. And then the gray area will go to that waste management transfer station in St. Paul, and so that's coming later. Their transfer station, their robots are still they're further behind yours. Paul.
So if you tell us the date in July, we'll all set our alarms for 12:01 a.m. to order our free bag.
My website will be ready.
So since I will be getting calls from council from people wondering when this is, when will this be happening?
July 6th. July 6th.
Oh, July 6th. I didn't
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sortation will be, the switch will be flipped. The facility will have been commissioned. Your postcards actually got ordered last week. So we're way ahead of schedule for getting things ready. If you want an extra reminder for when it's coming, you can go to our Food Scraps Pickup Program website, and there's a sign up, and it says, let me know when the program rolls out to new areas. You can put in your email address there. You can also sign up for the newsletter. You can sign up now, even before the program's available. There's lots of composting tips and tricks. There's other interesting county information about the compost giveaways and different things like that are happening. So it could be helpful for the drop-off sites that you have, just different things to think about when you're composting, about other things that you might be able to put in. Question?
I'm very excited about this. I've been following the programs and before y'all launch, super excited. So thank you. It sounds like we're a very like-minded group, like maybe already composting and already excited about this. There are other things that we can do
Oh.
to help our neighbors to get more people.
Oh my goodness, you're my favorite. Right. The question is, what can you all do? So you are my initial, what we found. The question is, what can we do to help spread the word? And you are the people that will help us get this out to more people. Currently, our goal for the first year was to get 10% participation. So we found that we're hitting 10% participation in the first 3 to 4 months, and that's because of all of you, people who are already, that's what I'm thinking. You've already done it, you're doing it in your backyard, you're used to it, you're using the drop-off sites, you've done this in other communities you've lived in, you're ready for this. So you're the early adopters. Our goal is to get up to 40% participation, similar to recycling programs, but we've been doing recycling for what, Paul, 40 years? How long has this been in? 35 years. So we've had 35 years to get to 40 to 50%. So this is a new thing, perhaps not new for all of you, but new for the bulk of people out there. And so we have a variety of things for people. Like I said, Raina is working on bins just to help get over that initial barrier for people of what do I collect this in? Where do I put this? So Ramsey County is working on that. We also have trial kits that are available, and we're happy to give those to residents who might want to talk to their neighbors. We'll work with the city, get this in public locations. So Raina is going to be a great connection for that. She's working with libraries. She's working all over the place. So if anyone has ideas, national nights out, events, different things. Question?
Secondly, you or Paul, sure whose specific stats on that, because I swear 100% of my neighbors have their recycling bin out more often than their garbage.
I don't know. I don't have,
It doesn't always go out, but the recycling analysis. Are we only at 40% in Shoreview, or is it?
Participation rates in short term.
yeah. Um, recycling. So the question was, what are the recycling rates? And do you happen to know what they are?
They vary, but it can often be as high as
Okay, so recycling, so Shoreview is a real standout with rates as high as up to 90%. Another question.
We have cul-de-sac cookouts, we're in a compost association, and so I want information, I'll just share it with everybody when we have our cul-de-sac cookouts, because it's become a real community, how do we help each other, and how do we help children?
You are all the exact people that I want to talk to. We also have yard signs. If people can say, come ask me how I recycle food scraps, ask me how to do it, and then we can give individuals trial kits if anybody comes and asks you. Another question. Great.
Sheriff's office and fire department get out of all of those. So that would be a game distributors. So, they have, there's a lot of locations, in both Shoreview and Arden Hills, and Mossville.
Raina and I are eager to work with people to help spread the word. We truly do think that that's how we're going to get to higher participation levels. Another question.
I know I have some neighbors who will be asking about the cost of this to them as a residents of the county. And maybe even what, will we still have free compost available to us at the yard waste sites and stuff like that? And if the food scraps that we're producing are going to a commercial facility in the end to be sold and distributed, where does that money go? Does the county get that money back in any way, or what?
The question is, how is this returned to the county? The county does not receive funds. We actually pay the compost facility to process it, and they market it under their own name, their own brand. So we do not see dollars after that. It's part of the disposal cost for us to take it somewhere to be processed properly. Right, for residents, how the program is currently paid for is through the county environmental charge. And so that the counties collect, and to participate to residents, there is no additional cost to participate to get those 2 orders of 60 each, 60 bags per box. So unless they feel like they need over 120 bags a year, which that might be what somebody needs in their household, they can purchase for the kind of the at cost for those bags to participate. The county environmental charge. You had a question. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the trial kit will have a 13-gallon and a 6-gallon bag. And again, this has been the one that's riding around with me in the car, so I don't have to worry about the bags cooking in my car in August. So they will have a 6-gallon and a 13-gallon bag, so you can try the size that works best for your family. And they have a brochure on how to order. And so there's lots of information in there.
What you can do online, or you can also call the customer service, does a great job in walking people through and putting that order in for you. So,
yeah. Another question.
Does your website have kind of a document we can download and forward to my friend, neighborhood, community?
Yes.
Available such document?
The question, I love all of these stuff. These are great questions. The question is there a document that can be forwarded via the website to friends or family? And the answer is yes. Both are, and also one other thing is both our call center and our our website are available in multiple languages. The website's translated into 5 different languages, and the call center has a variety of languages that can be requested at any point in time. It's a 24/7 call center line. We have multiple documents that are available on the website. We have accepted lists, and then we have a variety of helpful things such as a sticker that you can put on your bin. Again, Raina will have free bins that are available. In Washington County, I know that we've provided, maybe a resident has maybe there is a national night out, and we can work with a champion in that neighborhood to get them a number of trial kits and bins, as long as people sign up and use the bins. We'd love to be able to work with people to get things out in community and get people signed up.
Also, I am working on a document with just a list of talking points that can help out with, the cookouts and the block parties. That's like in process now, but I'll have that can be useful.
This is just the stats from 2025. This is what we've done so far. Our participation rate in the current eligible areas is 12%. We'd love to see this number grow, and I do think it's interested people and people with energy that want to spread the word is what's going to help us continue. And with that, this is our contact information. Feel free to email either of us. Let us know if there's questions. We have 5 minutes left. Are there any other questions?
I don't know if it's your area, but how about getting the food scraps out of food scrap producer restaurants?
The question is there a program to help remove food scraps from larger quantity producers? And there is a program. We actually have something called Biz Recycling. That's another program that we have to move things out of the waste stream on the upstream basis before it gets to the facility. And so we have technical assistance programs for businesses that work directly with them to help with recycling setups and to help with organics. So we are working on that. We're also accelerating it as part of the work that we're doing for the anaerobic digester, to be able to get more of that waste. First and foremost, we want to be able to pull any food that's usable that we can get in the hands of people before it goes in the trash. So we focus on that, and then we focus on if it's something that's not usable, then we want to get that pulled out. So that's a great question. So there's a variety of different programs that are out there. Another question. Oh, that's a great question. So the question was, there was an ops manager position on the website. So that one was a recently vacated position, and I think it's just, I don't know if there's any other ones on the horizon. I've just hired my most recent food scraps employee, and Raina works with Ramsey County. And then we have a similar position to Raina that works in Washington County, and I have a customer service person, a marketing individual, and then another program coordinator individual. So I've got a pretty full team right now on my team. Question? So the question is how to get trial kits. When it gets closer to July 6th, you can reach out directly to your city staff person or Raina. You can send her an email and organize trial kits. We'll have limited supplies available, like smaller quantity supplies available at the Environmental Center eventually. So there'll be a few different places. And then we've also been popping up 2-week in duration display stands at different businesses around town as well. So we're focusing on tabling at businesses, food-related businesses, and getting display stands. We don't want people to think that they can just go to the library and grab one of these every week. That would be a very expensive way to operate the program. But we'll be able to coordinate with you if you want to get things out to your townhome community. Question?
It'd be great if you would go to the schools and promote this stuff, because I just heard today that at Moundsview High School, they collect all the trash and all the recyclables, but that everything goes in the trash.
Yeah, so I know that my team has been working on school assemblies for that should be happening this fall, focusing on food waste reduction, with an aspect of that being the recycling.
Turtle Lake Elementary was partnering with Lidwell last year. I don't know if they're doing it again. But, so there's definitely an interest for that elementary school.
What was the name of the school again? Turtle Lake Elementary. Okay, I'll pass it along just in case it's not on a list somewhere.
Any final questions? How about a round of applause for?
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your interest.
Yeah,
Makes
thank
me
you.
really happy.
Thank you, everyone.